Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day today. And it is rainy and yucky and nasty outside, so I figured I'd do this in here and instead of in the yard, and kind of just put some footage of the year past as far as real mowing goes, and kind of talk you through my game plan for 2020. Now, hey, before we get into that hot and heavy, just a reminder, my wife and I set up the Team Jacks Foundation several years ago, and what that is we can collect money from organizations, businesses, whatever. It's a 501c3 3C, whatever it is, nonprofit organization. And what we do is we take that money that we collect and we take it to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I have a special needs son, and when he has surgery up there twice a year, we'll pre-select a family that has a child that has thoracic insufficiency syndrome, like my son, and we'll take them a substantial amount of money. God's been very good and very faithful to us in supplying the foundation money for us to be able to do that. And we take it up there, give it to them, pray with them, encourage them financially. We don't keep any of that money for ourselves. Not one red cent of it goes to us or our family. It's all collected through the foundation, and 100% of it goes to families in the name of Jesus. And as a way that I'm trying to use my platform, just be honest with you, I got a lot of people that watch this, and I want to intensify this giving, not so Pete and Tammy get a pat on the back, but to help families, just to help families. That's the absolute only reason we want to do it, and to be obedient to the Lord in the process. And a way that you can be involved. I know Christmas is here. People's probably buying stuff up like crazy off Amazon, and if you have an Amazon account, which a lot of people do, you can simply switch over and use smile.amazon. And it's part of Amazon. Amazon owns smile.amazon. And you log in the same way, you get the same Prime benefits, all that stuff. Nothing changes. You're just using a different Amazon website. And you select Team Jacks as the charity. And for everything that you buy through that, Amazon gives, I think it's 1%. So it's not a lot of money. If you spend $100, they give you $1. So it's not a whole lot, but with a lot of people doing it, it can actually add up over time. And my goal for 2020 is to bring in enough money from smile.amazon to be able to help at least 2 families. We'll go to Philadelphia 2 times in 2020 for 2 surgeries. This will be surgery number 24 and 25, I think, or 23 and 24, somewhere around those. We're in about the mid-20s on the numbers of surgeries Jax has had, and he's 8 years old, and will continue to have surgery. He will continue to have surgery until he's done growing. So little boys can grow, heck, I'm still growing, right? Of course, that's not what I'm talking about, but as far as growing up, little boys will stop growing, 16, 17, 18, 19 years old. So we've got several years of this left. Jax has several years of having surgeries left. So that's a lot of people that we can help before, we stop going to Philadelphia. And who knows what God has planned. We'll probably be helping after we stop going. So that's the way you can help. Is use smile.amazon for anything you buy off Amazon, and select Team Jacks as the charity, and my wife and I will absolutely be ecstatic about it, and that will allow us to help that many more people. And no, it's not a scam. No, I am a real person, and no, we don't take the money and do stuff on our own. It's legitimate, and I'm actually trying to get it set up to where I can take some cameras inside the hospital and actually film us giving the money, because I'm a big believer in seeing is believing. And I don't want you to just take my word for it. I want you to physically see with your eyes God blessing these families financially. In 2020, I plan on doing something totally and completely unique and different to me. I've always cut my grass high, tall, 4.5 inches. Since day one, I've always cut it with a rotary mower. Like a Wright or Exmark or something like that. And I've always been a little heavy on the nutrition side of things, and I'm going to go totally and completely against the grain and do all three of those pretty much exact opposite of what I've always done it for 17 years. And so the question would be, well, why are you doing this, Pete? And my answer is going to be respectfully, because I can. Life's kind of short. I only get to spend my life here 70, 80 years. Heck, I may walk out the door and get killed in a car wreck today. I just don't know what's going to happen to me. So I want to maximize my life and my experience and stuff like that. And I know it sounds a little deep, but at the end of the day, it's because I can, and I want to, and I want to learn, and I want to see how the yard reacts to being real mowed with a real mower. And of course, those of you folks that do real mowing all the time, you know that it's very difficult and near impossible to find a real mower that will cut 4 or 4.5 inches. And even if you did, probably the quality of cut's probably not going to be all that good, because the turf is taller and it just don't do right with a real mower. So again, I'm not an expert on real mowing. Hopefully I will be after 2020, once I learn the ins and outs of it and all that kind of thing. But in no way remotely close to, say, Connor Ward, Ryan North. I can't even begin to know what they know about real mowing, but I want to learn. So that kind of all plays into the why. Of course, I'll be cutting my yard at 2 inches all year long. I may even cut it down to about 1.5 inches in the spring and the fall. So that's going to really, really be different for me on a major way. Super different for me, and I'm actually kind of excited about it. I mean, what do I have to lose, right? It'll open the door for a lot more cool videos and that kind of thing, and you'll get to let me be the test dummy and be the this thing is glaring in my face. You'll get to be I'll be the test dummy, and you can see whether it works or not. Again, it's turf type tall fescue. It's my GCI blend. It's what's in my yard. It's been in my yard since day one, and you've seen all the videos. You see how it looks. It's a great looking yard, good standard turf. I highly maintain it to the nth degree. I don't cut any corners on my yard, and so this is going to kind of be a shocker for it in a way, to revert back or to revert over to a totally and completely different style of lawn care. And it's not only going to be the 2-inch cut or the 1.5 inch cut that's going to make it different. The other thing is it's what reel mower I decided to go with, and it was the Allen reel mower. They brought it out here to the shop, and we used it. I used it, mowed with it, took it over to my dad's place, mowed some Bermuda grass with it, and man, I'm telling you, I've been around lawn care equipment a long time. I have a lot of lawn care equipment. You guys know that. I'm an equipment junkie, nerd. I'm an addict. I have a problem with lawn care equipment, meaning I probably have too much of it. But it's kind of my niche. I like it, and when I can run a piece of equipment, a new piece of equipment, operate it, see how the ergonomics are on it, and the way it's built and everything, and typically I can make a decent call on it. It's very rare for me to, and humbly saying this, be wrong about a piece of equipment. And after running this thing pretty much all day, half a day or so, whatever, that Allet mower, I was just sold on it. It was one of them things that it fit me good. Roland was either an excellent salesman, or the equipment is what it is. And I really believe the equipment is what it is. It's a great mower, and that's the one we're going with. You know, they're from Britain, England, over that way across the water, and they kind of grow turf a little differently than we do. You know, they're very, very limited on chemicals and fungicides and, you know, all that kind of thing, because their government, you know, kind of has put bans on stuff. I don't know all the details about it. I'm not going to get into it, but so they've had to learn how to grow turf in a different type of way. And basically, in a nutshell, they do it more with mowing practices and cultural practices. They're huge advocates of have no thatch, zero. I'm talking about when you go out in the yard, they want nothing but the turf, the grass blades, the crown, the stem, the grass blades, the green part of the grass, and dirt, and that's it. They in their system or program, they're using that little rake, that little turf rake, and they're constantly digging up and constantly raking out the turf, so that any little bit of thatch that gets built up, you remove it from the yard, physically remove it. You know, there's nothing sprayed on it and breaking it down and nothing like that. It's just you actually physically move it, haul it off. So that, and then we would do you know, multiple aerations a year, using their system with their aerator that goes on the machine. There's several other little things in there, verticutting and things like that. And I'm not necessarily convinced or know that I need verticutting on tall fescue, because it's not a spreading type turf. To my knowledge, typically verticutting is to encourage spreading of turf, which would be using bluegrass or Bermuda, stuff like that. So I may not get into that, but the aeration and the turf raking, I'll probably do that quite often. And kind of the philosophy behind that is, if you get rid of that thatch layer, any thatch whatsoever, and you've got turf growing on soil by itself, your nutrition, your water, your inputs get into the ground much easier, much faster, much simpler. Therefore, you need less of it. So that goes into my program I'm going to run this year. Now, out here at the shop, we've got the bluegrass and the 4 different turfs out here, and you know, it's going to be converted over to Bermuda, and I will probably, if my mindset stays true, I will run a full Carbonex program out here at the shop. And all my videos out here at the shop on this turf will be Carbonex. We'll probably use some Greene County fertilizer in there as well for the liquid portion of it and the humic portion of it. And then at the house, my test plot back behind the house is going to be a 100% full-blown higher bricks program. I got some spanking news about higher bricks. It's about the shipping on it. So the news is just incredible. It blew me away. It's gonna be a huge year for Hire Bricks and those guys. They worked out something on the shipping, and it's incredibly cheap. So you're going to want to stick around and see that. And I can't share that with you because it's not fully integrated into their system or whatever. It's not a done deal, so it won't be long for that. The Hire Bricks is also having a starter fertilizer coming out so that you can use that with your grass seed. And of course, when I redo that back there, fall. Oh man, I just broke my stinking arm, man. Dang. Crap. Fall 2020, we'll be redoing the test plot, and that will be 100% blue heat. That's the GCI Kentucky Bluegrass. Of course, back there we'll do all Hire Bricks on that. Of course, we'll really better cut that down short. That bluegrass, we'll keep it at a 1/2 inch or so inch all year. That'll be real mowed as well. And my yard, where we're going to real mow. Now my test plot will still mow it with the right and 4 inches, 4.5, all that. The time that I spend over in my neighbor's yard will still be cut tall and high and all that. But my yard, we will absolutely real mow it, and I've committed myself to this. A lot more extra work because there's a lot of walking. It's 34 inches wide. A lot of bagging and collecting clippings. I'm going to have to bring them back to the shop and dump them. So it's going to be quite a bit more work for me, but I'm dedicated to it. I've committed myself to it. And as part of that is we're going to run more of a spoon feeding program on my yard, meaning it's going to be a 100% Greene County Fertilizer all liquid program. Everything from start to finish in 2020 will be 100% liquid on my yard. And of course, the reason I chose that is so I can control growth a little bit better, and I'm not getting a lot of sporadic growth during different times of the year, just to minimize my mowing effort, so I don't have to mow, every 2 days or whatever. Because like I said, it's going to be a lot more mowing for me involved. And then the other reason for that is the GCI Spray Buddy is close. The patent has been sent to the United States Patent Office, and according to my patent attorney, we have an excellent shot at getting that patented because there's absolutely nothing on the market remotely close to it. So I'm excited about that, and I'll get to show you the Spray Buddy because it's all about spraying. As you know, I'm all about spraying. I love spraying turf, and so that'll be coming soon. I'll announce that first, probably on my email list when it gets ready, and then my academy groups on Facebook. Now, as part of working with Allet, okay, they contacted me and said, "Hey, you want to try Allet mower?" And I said, "Sure, I'll try it," because I don't know if I mentioned it in the video or that I was looking for a real mower. And so they contacted me and brought the mowers out here and tried them. And they are trying to get more of a presence in the United States. So they're super well known over across the pond, but over here they're kind of getting a foot in the door. And they have residential models, they have commercial models. Of course, I'm getting a gas powered 34-inch commercial, the big bad boy. That rotary mower you saw me using at one point in time, I might get one of those toward the end of the year. And yeah, I'm buying this stuff and not giving it to me. I'm purchasing it for myself because I don't want them to have to give me something to me, and then I feel like I have to be positive 100% about it. If there's something I don't like about it, I'm gonna tell you. And I don't want any type of ties with them to where I feel like I have to give it a good review. If I pay for it with my money, then that allows me to do that. And of course, in trade for all this, yes, I got a little bit of a break on buying one. I'll just be completely honest with you. It's just the way it is. And the other thing was they are going to have, or they do have a residential style, and those things are very inexpensive for a residential reel mower. battery powered, gas powered, I think. So I'll be getting some of my hands on some of those throughout the year, so I can actually show you. When you see me mow my yard, I'll be using the commercial mower, but I will also be getting my hands on some of the residential models, and so that I can show you hands-on all about those. So I don't know if this is, let me throw this out there. This whole YouTube thing, it is a online business for me. It is a way that I generate income and put food on the table for my kids and my wife. I pay my bills with it. Didn't have the intention of it blowing up like it did, but it did, and so we roll with it. And as part of that, you kind of work out deals with some companies you work with, like Allet and Greene County and Hire Bricks and Carbonation. I work with those companies and offer their products, and the Allet mower is not going to be any different. We will be offering the Allet mower to both residential and commercial. If you want them, that's great. If you don't, that's great. But it's just an option there. And yeah, I've got a coupon code. Every time that's the way they give out these coupon codes, so they can track it, so they know where the sale originated. And that's kind of how I get a commission off of whatever is sold. So that's kind of the way that works, if you didn't know. If you have any experience with this at all, you probably already knew that. So when I sent out my little blast email, I got back a lot of, not a lot, I probably got 10 or 12 emails back. And they all had the same common theme, was, hey, Pete, for 2 years now, you've been teaching us to do this, cut your grass high, and, don't mow it in the summer, and this, that, and now all of a sudden you're doing something different. What do we do? Should we mimic you, or should we do exactly what you're doing in the yard? And the answer is no, you should not. You got to remember, man, my yard is my playground, okay? If I get out there and get halfway through the season, something goes totally completely wrong, you have to remember that I've been fortunate and blessed. I own a lawn care company, and I've got bukus of grass seed and fertilizer and all kinds of equipment that you can shake a stick at. I've got full-blown irrigation. At any point during the course of the year, I can probably go in and mend and repair my yard and fix it and recover it quickly, just based off what I know and what I own and what I have at my disposal. Joe Smo homeowner that doesn't do this for a living may not have all this for a living, or have access to this, and so it wouldn't be feasible for him to go out and try something totally completely off the chain. And if something happened and messed up, then he would have to be living with a yuck yard until the time frame of the year where he could get it back in order. I hope that makes sense. But in a nutshell, I don't want you to follow me on this. Now, of course, it's your yard. You do whatever the heck you want to do with it. I'm not telling you what you can do with your yard. It's a free country for the time being. And you do that the way you want it to. But with that said, I'm going to encourage you to not follow me on what I'm doing in my yard. Again, it's tall fescue. It's technically and typically cut taller, especially in areas like we live in, where we deal with tremendous heat stress and disease and all that kind of thing. You want it taller. For multiple reasons, and I've got videos all over the place about that. You can check those out. But I'm totally completely going against the grain. I don't want you to try to copy that, okay? If you do, you're doing it on your own free will. If you have one of my lawn care programs, my cool season program, which I'm actually in the middle of updating it right now, it's going to be crazy cool. Cannot wait to tell you how I did it this time. And of course, if you've already got the program, the Cool Season Guide, when I update this, you get a copy for free. You don't ever pay for it twice. It's just always, anytime I update it, it's free. Probably around first of the year or so, this will be ready. Definitely have it out in time for round one. What I want you to do is follow that guide. The guide's there for a reason. Of course, I've got folks that kind of, alter it a little bit here and there. That's your prerogative. You do what you want to do. But so with all that said, that's what I want you to do, is follow the guide or continue doing what you've been doing in your yard for years. Again, this is totally, completely, 100% against the grain as far as tall fescue goes. And I just simply want to try something different and new and unique, just so I can either prove to myself that yes, it can be done, or no, it cannot be done. And of course, spring and fall, this is probably going to be a breeze like it is with fescue. But when we get into the heat of summer, July and August, I'm really excited to see how the GCI Turf Type Tall Fescue blend will hold up at a 2-inch cut. 2-inch cut, full sun during July and August. So we will absolutely see. That's going to be an experience. Of course, I may end up frying the yard. I may toast it. I don't know. Well, I don't know until I get there, right? So a quick little recap. Yes, I'm going to reel mow my yard. The only way I would probably drop out of this is if I just got overwhelmed with work here and my time was just beyond limited. One thing that's going to help me this year is we are going to, my neighbor, I'm going to do a whole nother video on this. I started doing my neighbor's yard, love your neighbor, as God commands us to. And I've been loving her for about 2 years now. And I've sunk a lot of time and a lot of money in her yard. So I think it's time to give it back to her. That way, because I've got I've got this renovation here at the shop. I've got the bluegrass renovation at home. And then in 2021, I'm renovating my yard, the yard that we're going to be reel mowing. So I've got a lot going on between the shop and the two areas at my house on my property. So I think it's about time to turn that when my neighbor's loose. And we'll do a little video on that. Kind of, I'll walk you through the start to finish on what happened with that yard. But with that said, reel mowing my yard this year just because I want to. And we're going to use the Allet mower to do it. Excited about that. Yeah, I've got a Ventrac reel mower, but that's going to be for our Bermuda athletic fields. We've been contacted by several of them that we treat, and they want us to actually start mowing them for them. So that's why I got that one. I'm not going to continue mowing my yard with that. It'll be the Allet. The time frame of this is 2020, pretty much all year. And the last thing I mentioned was, what should you do if you're kind of following me real tight on what to do in a fescue yard? Just don't do it. It's that simple. You keep doing what you're doing. Of course, my test plot back there in the back will be more geared toward traditional fescue care. And that, when I do videos on that part, absolutely follow me on that, because that's what I'm going to be doing. And again, that'll be a higher bricks program this year. Higher bricks on the test plot, all liquid green county on my yard, and Carbonex out here at the shop. So hey, thank you for watching. I know this has been a long, drawn out video with just this dummy talking about grass. And I appreciate you watching, taking your time out of your day. And I just want to kind of give you an idea of where I'm going in 2020 with my yard and all that. I hope you guys are ready for Christmas, because it's close and I'm about to bite the bullet to get up Christmas Day and share that time with my family, and go ahead and eat that big breakfast and exchange some gifts and celebrate the birth of Jesus. And not only that, but how God's changed my life personally. And man, it's a super cool time of the year that gets marketized quite a bit, and you tend to overlook the real reason for Christmas. And we just need to be focused on Christ, okay? At the end of the day, that's what it's about. All this grass stuff, I can talk about it and sell it and do it till I'm blue in the face, but man, when I leave up out of here, I don't get to take none of that stuff with me. You know, the money I make, the grass I grow, the equipment I got, the computers I watch, the phone I talk on, even the clothes I wear, it's all gonna be here. I don't get to take any of it with me. So I hope and pray that your heart is right with the Lord, that you're focused on Him in your mind, and I just wish all the best to you in 2020. And again, thank you for watching the video. Check you later.